All right, what's up, y'all? I'm back with another Tay Talk video, but this Tay Talk, wait, what? I don't be calling these Tay Talks. Anyways, I may be calling it that soon, but anyways, Tay Talk. I'm joined, I'm joined by Rail. Um,
Yep.
it's the first talk video where I got someone else in here. It is a very special talk video. I'm lucky nervous because I don't want to leave out any part, but um, originally it was going to be I love weirdos, or like I think Jesus is weird. But I was like, I don't know. But I'll just say this: Jesus was an outcast, and originally this video is not supposed to be about Jesus at all, right? But I'm gonna get into how this turned into Jesus and why this makes sense for me. Real really doesn't have no idea what this video. Real has no idea what this video is about, but you're about to find out as we go on. So what makes this video so special? Because I feel like I relate a lot to this, and over the years, it helped me become one with myself and uh know who I am and what I wanted to be. Anyways, so when you're okay, I'll start off with this. Like I always do in these videos, I start with a personal experience, and then I talk more broadly about everything. So I say when you're like me, um, like I do a lot of poetry stuff now because it's kind of hard to like get my point across. I feel a lot of times I feel misunderstood or just like not heard for real. And what I realize now, and it doesn't matter if I got my it doesn't matter if I got my point across in a way which like someone heard or understood everything I was saying, or like heard everything I was saying. There's still people who wouldn't get it. It takes a special someone to understand what you're saying, or like what you gotta say and what it means to you and stuff like that. So realizing that, I really didn't really have that person. Um, I got into like music and everything, and we're gonna get into Jesus. We're gonna get into Jesus. How this makes sense. It's all gonna make sense. So I got into music and a lot of things, and we have a bunch of like artists like Pharrell, Kendrick, um, Michael Jackson, different artists, fashion designers. Yes, and what I've noticed that all these people have in common is that these people are weird. They're weird, and not in a bad way. They're weird in a good way. The fact that to be able to create these things and be so different from the people around you, and I noticed they all felt different from their peers, and knowing that what, I'm gonna just keep the difference between them, right, is they didn't give in to I need to fit in, right? I need to fit into the crowd. They didn't give into that. They stayed who they were all the way through, and I believe that's why they are as successful as they are now, and they're changing lives. I feel like, yeah, I feel like if someone seeing them, especially younger people seeing that, you could have a lot of people come out their shell from seeing that, right? And I took a lot of inspiration from that because I'm like, this is amazing. So it's like it reminds you to stay true. It reminds me of like stay true of who I am, and I think that's a great thing. I think that's a beautiful thing actually. Um, when you don't have those certain people around you, I'm glad we have these huge influences around who are around, and you can just look into their lives and everything. It goes beyond the art they're making. It goes beyond the music. It goes beyond why do they see life the way they do? Like, how can Michael Jackson can just create this piece out of thin air? How could Pharrell just take something that isn't there yet and just taking these his best ideas and thoughts coming from the future and putting that down and giving people a whole new world to experience? This is a different day, obviously, but this is also what I wanted to mention. I know I talked about the Michael Jackson, the Pharrell, but I also want to bring up a big one that has influenced me a lot. While before I was fully like trying to lock in with Jesus and get to know him more. Another person who has influenced me, like I said, music is very powerful. It's a like it's a universal language. Right? I feel like we all can relate and get to music. But another big one who helped me out was Kendrick in a way. Understanding that you're from being from Compton and you're thinking my only goal is to get older, rob places, and to do all this, these heinous acts. and have people die around me, get backs. But no, he had a calling, and he answered that calling, and now is in a position where he can talk about, you know, the like grace of God and everything, and also help the younger generation and even the older generation, because some of we can still help the older generation. If like the age doesn't matter, um, know that there is something greater to you, and you are amazing, and you can overcome your circumstances. And I think that is amazing. I'm glad God has made people like that and put them on this earth for us to you know, to help out a bunch of people relate in that way. Because even when like you're coming to God, a lot there are times, you know, God will reach you, or you know, you find God. Like for me personally, God found me personally at a low moment. But sometimes, you know, you can relate and find God in so many other ways, and it can be through music. And you know, some people don't really have like a good church that they're going to, or are comfortable in church, or like, you know, are comfortable around certain people, or they have like very like religious people who are just casting judgment on a bunch of people, and they really, you know, they're not okay with it, and a lot of times that turns you away. But if you listen to someone like Kendrick, and now for real, who, you know, he has changed his music a lot, and you listen to someone like that, or just these other people are gospel songs and whatnot. But you know, a lot of people won't get into that gospel yet, I would say, because you know, if you're not already going to church or this and that, I don't think I don't think it's very likely. Anything is possible, but I don't think the odds for you listening to a gospel music are likely if you're not already, you know, submerging yourself within church. We have a lot of other worldly music that gets people eventually, that could get people into God, you know, because a lot of artists, they do change their goals in their music. But let's get back to Kendrick, bro. He talks about God a lot of times in beating your circumstances. You know, that can get into, and that could help people realize, like, okay, how did this guy make it to this level, and how he this guy mentions his Jesus character and his God character a lot. I want to get to know who this is, and I feel like that could be a gateway into Jesus. There's so many different ways, bro, and I'm glad that we have those type of people that can allow people to experience who Jesus is and get to know him. But like, and there are times where if, you know, Jesus wants you, or like, you know, if God wants you, he's gonna come for you. He will. And I just think it's very unique, and that's amazing, and that's hoping I can, you know, reach a lot of people through my videos and everything in that way, and this can just be a outlet for people to talk about anything, and we can just, you know, share experiences, and we can talk about God and those things. But yeah, being different is amazing, and I would really call these people unique and whatnot, and I wouldn't really use the word weird. But the only reason I'm using the word weird, because that is, I feel like, a worldly term, or you know, I feel like they're all like, you know, that we have labeled people who are different from, you know, everyone else. So we have gave them this label as weird or whatever. And I feel like a lot of things we have been doing, especially now in this generation, that we have been empowering so many words that were used to down people. And that is why I use these type of words. I don't see them in that way, and it's not to offend anyone thinking people are weird, because you're not weird. You know, it's great to be different and be unique. I feel like y'all are the most powerful people out there. People who are able to break that cycle, and break that pattern that everyone else has fallen into, you know. um and I think you guys are just unique and amazing. I wouldn't really necessarily call people weird, but that's just what we're using for the sake of the video, so everyone can understand where I'm coming from. But yeah, I'm gonna get back into the video so you guys can finish up the video. But yeah, that's what I wanted to say. And then once they get to that level, they're not seen as this weird person. But if you're someone who never really felt inside the box, if you felt like me growing up, then you understand where that's coming from, and you understand them on a deeper level. But if you're someone who always tried to fit in with everybody, you just think, oh, this cool, you just here for the vibes, you know, here to the vibe going or whatever. No, Marcus. But then you won't get this. And it took me from sitting here learning their lives to like, because I get to a point where I'm not looking at their art like, oh, this is cool. No, I get to a point where if I'm listening, I'm hearing their story, and I'm looking at their art. That feeling, it's like this weird, like this light glowing, like this light breathes, it flows throughout my body while I'm listening to these things and watching these things. And I can't fully explain it, but that's how it feels. Like I could be like, for example, sitting there watching Michael Jackson biopic and learn more about his life. That whole everything, it just felt like energy flowing through my body, and I felt amazed. Like, yo, you could really just be yourself out here, right? And so here's where Jesus comes into take, and we're gonna talk about why people are so scared to come out of their shells and be who they are, right? And or why some people decide I'm not gonna answer my calling and I'm just gonna act like everyone else and I'm gonna fit in with the crowd. We're gonna talk about all that. And here's where it gets amazing. It's like one morning where I'm praying and I'm talking to God, and then these things is coming to my head about I should talk about this. That's why this video is so special. And how, because I didn't think I would ever bring up God into this, but this is how it happened, or Jesus. So this is how it happened, right? So I'm sitting here after thinking about all these people who have like changed my life in some type of way, influenced me. Um, I stopped and think, who is the original person? Who was the original person who changed the game up? Like, that's what my mind took me. After praying and everything, I was like, who was it? And I couldn't think of anyone else but Jesus. And I'll explain why, right? I feel like before Jesus was here and he got crucified, right? He was here sent on a mission. He knew exactly what he was supposed to do. He knew exactly who he was. And I think before he got here, everyone was the same. Let's say this. Everyone was sinning. Everyone didn't know any other way but the life they were living. Jesus came here different. He showed a different way of living. Like, you think about everyone's living the same. This is their norm. Jesus came here and showed a new way of living. He showed a new way of living. He was judged along his way here, and he was essentially crucified. I feel like we destroy and we crucify and we just make fun of and we do things to people because we don't understand anything that we're scared. I feel like we as a human race, we're scared of what we don't understand, and that's just it. Honestly, something new comes up, and I know it's hard, and I feel like even with a lot of like even Christians or anyone who, if you have some type of sympathy for Jesus being crucified, I know it's hard seeing, oh, he was beat, he was hung, he was all this, right? But you got to understand this. I feel like when we judge people because of they want to be different or they just don't fit in with the crowd, we're low-key crucifying people in a way. We're breaking down their character, we're destroying them, we're making fun of them, we're putting them down. Yes, we're not physically stabbing them, hanging them on a cross, but I feel like mentally we are crucifying them in a way. We're being mean, we're putting people down because of what we don't understand. And the way that just correlates in my mind is just amazing. The fact that I can sit here and talk about this with y'all and think about it in that way. And we really gotta stop doing it. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. We gotta stop doing that. It's bad, bro. I think it's just a modern way of crucifying people. They killed Jesus because what they didn't understand, what they were scared of, right? They were scared. And they felt like this guy who's just performing miracles and tests, and he's just coming out of nowhere. And he's, we got the Romans and everything. Oh, he's like, this dude, or like, basically who we think he is, or does he pose as a threat? But I don't think any of them sat down and and actually talked to Jesus. I mean, there are Romans who turned away, and got their life right. But that was like during like most of that was happening like during like the death of Jesus. So it's like, before we even got to that point, sitting down and talking to him and understanding who are you, what's your goal, what's your motive. No, they got scared. They felt he was a threat or whatever and killed him. Of course, yes, he had to die, but I'm not going into all that right now. I'm staying at a level where we all can understand. I'm not going into the cosmic level with this at all or either. I'm just not on a cosmic level with this. I'm staying here. So y'all can get the idea in your head and see where I'm coming from. But yes. Ugh. But yes, Jesus showed a new way of living while he was here. And I think when we have quote unquote weird people, like if we're so used to doing something, let's say for example, Pharrell or whatever. I think Pharrell showed a new way of being creative, a new way of living. He was a black kid who skateboarded and did a bunch of stuff that wasn't really acceptable at his time, and people didn't really I fight Michael Jackson, bro. Black kid from Indiana, bro. He had monkeys, chimpanzees, and giraffes, bro. It's different. It's different, and I feel like if he wasn't at the level he was at, he would be bullied. But the fact that Mike was at that level, once you get to a certain level, people start respecting you more. But people don't respect you where you start at. Like when you're at the starting point, people really don't want to respect you as much. But when you get up to that level, that superstar level, now everyone's want to respect you. They want to know who you are and they want to know your name. But but being at that low level, it's like you're getting bullied, and I think that's where a lot of people are at, especially going through high school, middle school. It doesn't matter, elementary, being different. A lot of people are there. We all can't be on this Michael Jackson level, you know. But but I'm glad it is amazing because God makes everyone has a mission. Everyone has something to do. Because if you didn't, you wouldn't be here. And it's just up to you if you want to accept that calling. I think a lot of us have callings, and I think what happens though is you're either going to chase that calling or you're going to be too scared and let people get in the way of your calling and not achieve your goals or what God wants you to do or what are the plans God has for you. And I think another thing is some people know this calling. They know they're made to be different and do different things. But the thing is, they're so scared of their peers and people around them judging them that they just ignore it and they fall into the crowd. And that's where dreams and everything dies. Those things die. And it's just sad, bro. But I'm excited to talk about this topic. Yeah. This is a great topic. I was been very happy to talk about this. Um, it brought me to a different place. I feel like I'm able now to express myself more and know who I am and really show my creativity. My creativity really show that and not really care. Don't let anyone else get in the way or try to dim your lights or bring any type of negativity or shut you down or try to crucify you try to crucify you for what you know what you were called to be. We're all not made to be the same. I mean, functionality wise, yes, we're all the same, but like other than that, no. We're all made. We all have our own callings and are made to do different things. That's just how it is. I don't think you should hide behind anything or be scared of anyone. Just be you. 'Cause in the day, that's all you can be. Is you. Don't be scared. Don't hide yourself. Don't let your creativity die. I think I think a lot of creativity dies when people try to fit in. Trying to fit in kills creativity. Yeah. Uh, Real, what you think?
I mean, I just second what you said, man. Like you said, bro, trying to fit in kills creativity and also kills your uniqueness too. It's just not everybody's supposed to be the same.
Uh, Not at all. Uh, I did call you earlier, but I was like, dang, real gone.
My bad. I'm back. I'm back.
All
Had
right.
to pee pee.
Oh, but yeah, this is I think this is a fire topic. I'm not gonna lie. Dope topic. Just creativity. Don't let anybody dim your lights. Keep going. Um, Jesus died for us so that we can know different and see stuff. You know, and if you know you're someone who you let's say you don't have that type of influence around you, yo, you'll have to be that influence. You have to be that change. You have to be that difference, man. For at least for someone else. When Jesus came here, there was no one like Jesus. Jesus had to live that sinless life and go through all that so that we can be saved and we can know that there is another life. There's another way to live life. So that we don't have to just do whatever sin and chaos and destruction. We don't have to. There is another way. There is a peaceful way of living. There's a great way of living. So yeah, if you don't have that, be that person. Be that person you don't have, or be the person you wish you had in your life. Because someone else may need it. I think we can't be we all can't just stay in our own bubble all the time and think about ourselves all the time. We gotta think about other people. If I'm feeling this type of way and I don't feel like there's no one like this, I know there's other people who feel like this. So why not push? I need to push myself even harder so that I can help out other people in need. I can be that person the people, you know what I'm saying, that I didn't have. But yeah, that's really what I wanted to talk about this topic. I think this video is very special to me, and I really wanted to share this. I feel like a lot of people probably need to hear this. I just want a lot of people to hear this. That you know, man, it's good. Okay, love weirdos. I guess I probably gotta stop saying that. But not grown man wearing diapers, adult diapers. But I mean, like Kenny said, man, the good kind, not the bad one.
Mm.
So yeah, that's pretty much it for me. It's just a little. This is just like a inside of um my thought process and just the correlations of everything. And I think this is very cool. I think it's a very unique thing I wanted to talk about. And yeah, especially I'm going through change right now, and and when these type of things come to me, it just feels great. Feels great. Um, I think I hit on everything I want to hit on. Yeah, but that's it for me. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Real, that's it for you.
Yeah.
All right,
Touched on everything, man.
yeah. Have a great rest of your day. Peace. I'll catch you on the next video. Hope get more into my original content a bit, but yeah. Peace out.